I am just now realizing I have cat hair and dog hair all over my black dress. So please ignore it. I don't even know if it's showing up on the camera. It's all good. Welcome to another week of KMspo. I'm so sorry that I missed last week. If you read last week's newsletter, little email blast, then you're probably aware that I've been recovering from a cold, and it was one that really knocked me off my feet. I was so unmotivated, so lazy, just absolutely exhausted. Yeah, so I feel a lot better now. My energy is back, and even though the cold is still lingering and my throat is still recovering from what I think is laryngitis, because that is always what happens when I get a cold, I'm feeling much better, and I'm so happy to be here with you for this week's KMspo. With this winter season, I'm finding that I'm having to manage my time a bit better and kind of move my schedule around a little bit, because as you can tell, it's dark outside and it is literally 5 o'clock. So actually, no, I think it's 5:30. It's 5:30. And it's already completely dark outside. So hope you enjoyed the ambiance. I lit the fairy lights in the background, so I hope you like that. Anywho, enough of my rambling. What I really want to talk about for this week's KMspo, especially since the holidays are coming up, and I know that for some people this can be a very exciting time of the year. For others, maybe it's not such a joyous time of the year. I really just want to talk about something that has truly changed my life. And anytime I listen to podcast episodes from the people that I admire, or I'm reading any books like personal development books and spiritual books, I notice that the one thing that all the authors seem to agree has, changed their life for the better is gratitude and appreciation. And I feel like the word gratitude is being so overused, and it's being thrown around like be grateful, and hashtag blessed. And so I just want to kind of bring this back to basics and what gratitude truly is, and just talk about this for this week's KMspo, because it is so important. And if you make it a habit, if you make gratitude and appreciation a habit every single day, you're going to see massive changes in your life. Because when you focus on gratitude and when you focus on appreciation, you're focusing on all the things that are going right and all of the things that are good in your life. And so the more, what you focus on expands. The more that you are focusing on the good, the more good you are going to bring into your life. I have implemented a gratitude practice for the past, I would say, year and a half, where it is something that I have done every single morning. It is something that I do not miss, and it's actually evolved into not just a morning time thing, but since I've been doing it so often and so consistently, it's carried that momentum forward throughout the rest of my day. So I find that, at first maybe I would do a gratitude practice in the morning, but I would find that as I kept doing that, it carried into my afternoons and into my evenings, and even into nighttime when I'm not even conscious anymore and I'm dreaming and sleeping and totally in my subconscious state. And so it's really nice because it ends up just being this cycle where you wake up in a really positive, grateful, and appreciative mood. And to me, there is nothing greater than a force of gratitude and appreciation. The thing about gratitude that I think so many people miss is they'll just start listing off things that they're grateful for, right? They're like, oh, well, I'm grateful that I'm healthy, and I'm grateful that, I have a house that I live in, or an apartment that I live in. I'm grateful that there's food in the pantry and in the refrigerator, and I'm grateful for my car, and I'm grateful that I have a job. And so as you can see, as I'm saying all these things, there's no feeling, there's no emotion attached to anything that I just said. It's basically me just listing off a bunch of things that I think I'm supposed to be grateful for. That's not how gratitude works. And so if you've been waking up in the morning, if you do have a gratitude practice and you're just kind of listing things off because you saw somewhere like in a video like this that you should have a gratitude practice and you should be doing this every single morning to see massive changes and improvements in your life, there's a reason why it's not working, and it's because you can't just list off the things that you're grateful for without actually taking the time to feel why you're grateful for them and acknowledge why you're grateful for them. And this can be a really hard concept for some people to wrap their heads around. So what I have found, this is what's really helped me, is to not look at gratitude as this huge thing where I'm like, well, I'm grateful for this and this and this, and thinking about all these larger scale things. When I think of gratitude and appreciation, it's the really small stuff. It's the moments that maybe don't happen as often throughout your day, but you kind of wish that they did happen a bit more often. So it could be the fact that you got to talk to your mom on the phone for an extra 5 minutes that afternoon. Or it could be the fact that you had your favorite creamer that's been, you know, not stocked at the grocery store. This happened to me recently, actually. I was like, I just want my pumpkin spice coffee creamer, and like nowhere had it. And I was like, I'm running out and this is awful. So anyways, like first world problems, right? But it's little things like that where, you know, having that first, after not having it for a week, having my pumpkin spice creamer in my coffee was just something I savored, and I was like, I missed this. So I actually look at gratitude now as like these very small things that make my day really, really wonderful. Another example could be that your kids maybe fell asleep earlier than usual, and that gave you some much needed alone time to read a book or soak in a bubble bath or give yourself a mani-pedi, have like a mini spa night, something that you don't normally get to do on a regular basis. I mean, one of the things I wrote down this morning on my gratitude list was the fact that Denali came and slept at the edge of my bed last night, and it's something she hasn't been doing, so she's been sleeping on the couch for some reason, and I haven't quite figured out why she's not, you know, sleeping in the bedroom like she normally does. So, and Denali's my dog, by the way, in case you didn't know that. That's my Siberian Husky. But so when she actually slept at the foot of the bed last night, I felt grateful when I woke up in the morning, and I felt her warm little body, you know, all snuggled up by my feet. So you can see as I'm saying these things that I'm grateful for, there's emotion attached to it. There's a feeling attached to it. And I'm smiling as I say it. And it's more of a miniature story that I can tell. So when you're just listing off things to be grateful for and there's no feeling attached to it, it's really pointless to even do a practice like that because it's not doing anything for you. But if you can sit there and think about 5 things every single day and really feel into those things. And at first you might feel kind of silly doing this because you're like, I can't believe that that's something that I'm grateful for. But as you continue to do it more and more, you will be amazed at how many little things that maybe you took for granted because something didn't happen one day, or something that does happen, you know, every single day that you're like, wow, like I can't imagine if I didn't have this to go to or have this to happen every single day. So I want to give you a brief overview of what my gratitude practice looks like in case you're like, oh, I'm the one who's guilty of just listing things off over and over again and having no feeling attached to them and then wondering why your life hasn't changed or improved in some way. I want to share this with you in case you would like to implement this. So the first thing I do in the morning upon my eyes opening, and this takes some training of your brain to do, so don't be too hard on yourself if you kind of forget to do this or you do something else first thing in the morning, because it took me about a month of practicing this to get it right. But the minute my eyes open in the morning, I immediately go into gratitude mode. So like I said, if Denali is laying on my feet at the foot of the bed, that is something I immediately lock into and express gratitude for. And I just lay there and I feel myself being supported by the bed, by the pillows, and, you know, just really comfortable surrounded by the blankets. And I feel her weight and the heat of her little furry body next to my feet. And I focus in on that for just a couple of minutes. It could even just be for 30 seconds, 60 seconds, but I focus on that. And the minute I do that, I start thinking about other things that I'm grateful for as I'm getting up to start my day. So that's the first thing, is the minute you wake up, because oftentimes when we wake up, we tend to remember what happened the day before or the mood that we were in the day before, especially if it's something where it's not a great thing that happened or you weren't in the best mood. That can carry over. The amazing thing about when you sleep is that all thought processes, all consciousness truly does stop. Any kind of momentum, whatever vibration you're carrying, stops when you sleep. That's why it is so important upon waking up the next day to immediately lock into gratitude and to use that time wisely. From there, I'll go into my kitchen, I'll make myself a cup of coffee, and that's when I'll start doing my morning ritual or my morning routine. So I'll pull some tarot cards, I will journal, I have so many morning routine videos on YouTube, so you can just go look at those to see what I do every morning. But one of the things I've started doing in my journal is I have started doing an appreciation rampage. And so what I'll do is I'll pick 3 things that I'm grateful for, or just 3 things I can look around, like maybe it's the weather outside, maybe it's something like the trees or the way my coffee tastes that day, or it could really be anything. But I will sit there with my journal, and for 3 separate topics, 1 page each, I will do a gratitude and appreciation rampage, where I will choose that topic and I will write everything that I love about it, everything I'm excited about it, what I admire about it, what I appreciate about it, what I'm grateful for about that specific topic. Because again, that trains your mind and your brain to focus on the good and to focus on abundance and the things in your life that are currently going well and the things that you have versus what you're lacking. Those are really the only 2 things I do in terms of gratitude, but you will notice as you do this consistently every single day, it just carries into the rest of your day. You're happier, you're uplifted, you're in a better mood, you're more patient. That was a big one for me because I'm a very impatient person. So the fact that I had more patience was incredible. And things that maybe used to make me angry, like someone cutting me off or like not holding the door or just being kind of rude, you know, when they're, you know, I'm checking out at the cash register, those things just don't bother you because you're in such a state of like, look at how amazing everything is, look at how abundant my life is, look at all the good, that you, like the negative or anything that you would perceive to be as negative cannot find its way to you. It's like there is a block up, and it is honestly the most incredible thing ever. So I would say 2 things for your gratitude practice. First thing in the morning, when your eyes open, find something immediately that you appreciate and sit in that feeling for as long as you possibly can before you have to get out of bed and start your day. And the second thing, whether you need to do this, you know, right before you go to work, or maybe it's when you get to work and before you start your day, you can bring your journal with you, is to choose 3 things that you are grateful for and go on an appreciation rampage for 3 whole pages. So 1 full page for each of those 3 topics. And I do want to give you guys some tools, like a book and a journal that I use that I absolutely love. So the first is the Gratitude Journal for Women. So if you are new to gratitude, I highly recommend this journal. It is by Katie Vernon and Catherine Furman. So this is a fantastic resource, again, if you are new to gratitude journaling. And this is a book recommendation I have for you. It is called The Joy of Missing Out by Tanya Dalton. She is the founder and CEO of Inkwell Press Productivity. And the whole point of this book is live more by doing less. So it's so good for focusing on abundance and gratitude and being in that flow state instead of hustle. So I highly recommend both of these if you are starting out on your gratitude journey. And I mean, you don't really need to get a journal. You can always just use a blank notebook, but it's just nice to have prompts sometimes because that'll help you kind of get into the flow. That is it for this week's KMspo. I really hope that you enjoyed it. I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and I will see you in next week's video. Bye.